So we left off with a stick of dynamite. Stick of dynamite has 5,000 BTUs, but we've all seen the kind of work it can do, and that's changed by time and compression, a whole bunch of little variables. But say a pound of wood, for all intents and purposes, has anywhere between 8 and 10,000 BTU. Well, the energy content in that wood is about twice the amount in dynamite. But when you light wood on fire, its energy release time is in minutes or even hours, where that stick of dynamite is in microseconds. So that 5,000 BTU is expelled all at once, and you move mountains with it. Well, you light a mountain on fire, it's not going to move, it's just going to burn everything down. So you can think of gasoline and an internal combustion engine and diesel and whatever as the same principle. It's flame speed and time, burn time, making more of the explosion effect instead of the burning effect. A Big Mac, if you cross-reference caloric energy to BTUs, a Big Mac has 2,200 BTU. Well, if you use it as BTU, it's not real feasible to be burning a Big Mac to heat some water or to do any kind of work. But that caloric energy, if you eat it, I'm not saying Big Macs are good because they probably the worst thing you could eat, but you could eat it and that energy is then released in the body, and you can go out, you can get a wheelbarrow and move some gravel with a shovel and stuff, and a lot of work comes out of it. So it's all how it's all defined, and everybody's stuck on this. Our engines are 80% heat. Well, we can change that, so it really doesn't go against thermodynamics if you really get down to the base problem. Another example of BTU, if you take this 357 round that I have and this big 8mm for one of my hunting rifles. Well, if you were to take the powder charge from this little round and dump this powder charge out, put this powder charge in here, and put this lead on here, you'd be lucky to get this projectile to leave the muzzle, because we've changed our variables. We'll still have the same energy content, but we've changed the variable. It's not as compressed, it's not as confined, so it's not going to do as much work. Same thing with an engine. We can get it to do less work with less fuel. And on the opposite end of the BTU range, there's been engines that have been designed to run red hot, but they're really impractical with current materials. I'm looking at doing stuff where our infrastructure is already here. We already have reciprocating engines. We already have gasoline. Let's change the variables and make better use of what we have without reinventing the wheel. Like electric cars, or electric hybrids. I really think it's just a fad, and it's actually a dangerous one. I get hazard pay working on these things. These lithium-ion batteries are a fireman's nightmare. I have very good friends who are firemen. As soon as they pull up to a hybrid car, they're freaked out if it's on fire. I've seen other technicians try and take shortcuts and blow a car damn near in half from a battery exploding. And then, what's going on with all this, with toxic waste and stuff from the battery. So there's a lot of things that people aren't really taking into account. I'm not saying it's a bad technology, but I don't know that it's the best one either. Just like HHO, it may not be the best, but it can be a key. And maybe it turns out we don't use it for cars at all, and it's just stationary power generation and whatever. I'm going to keep working on the cars thing, but we need a lot better control. Now, to give a quick wrap up of the dyno stuff, and I'm trying to get some stuff converted I pulled myself away for 20 minutes here. My other files are VOBs, and anyways, the wife's got me going. But I went in there with a mindset of being able to spend my 16 hours, and it wasn't the case. The shop was selling the dyno, so it was unhooked, economic. They need to get rid of it. They weren't making money. So they took me over to a friend's shop, and I got 2 pulls. That's all I got. So I did 1 pull without and 1 pull with, and it was roughly 5-6 liters a minute. Before I get any hate mail, is doing it wrong, this and that, I went in with what an average Joe, some average Joes would do. No computer mods, no nothing. This is a bone stock thing, put the cell on, plug it in. No EVs, none of that garbage. There was loads and RPMs that emissions were cut 30%, and there was loads and emissions that were raised 30%. So, that pretty much throws what a lot of people are saying out the window, and it virtually eliminates it. It doesn't. But it did show me that much more control is needed. Just like EFI. I don't know if that overall would be better or worse emissions, say driving for an hour in the city. I don't know. I didn't have that kind of time. We're working on purchasing a dyno so that I have unlimited access to it. And in turn I'll use it to generate income also with doing some emissions testing and dyno tuning. And I wasn't able to get an actual dyno as far as horsepower and torque. This was an emissions only dyno, and it was only, capable of a 30 horsepower load. So that's what California requires on their emissions testing. So that's kind of the short rundown. I'm doing some voiceover and some annotations on the stuff as far as what was going on where. It was the emissions technician running it. There's some interviews with him, and he's kind of baffled on what's going on because the numbers were not normal when they would go down and when they would go up, and he was a little confused. But it did definitely bring some much needed information. And as far as the people giving me the PMs, and I'm sure I'll get a lot more after this video, I'm not out to be in an exclusive club or a group or whatever. I'm working on this stuff. There's a lot of crap out there and everybody knows it. And if it gives you a lesser opinion of me, then fine. I'm not looking out to be everybody's friends. I respect Energy Supply and his academic approach, even though it was a very straightforward one-line approach, but it was still an approach. It's okay. He put a lot of work into it. I respect that. I'm sure if I were to meet this guy, we'd be friends. But the people who just on either side who say yes it works, no it doesn't, without doing something, and you start getting upset at me, doesn't matter. This testing has helped with some backers, and they want me to start looking in some other technologies along with this, so some funding will come in. I'm contemplating pulling off of YouTube for a while, having this baby, getting some research done, and I got some magazine articles to do, and some engineering meetings to go to, so things may slow down a little bit for me as far as getting information out to you. There's a couple more segments of this video that I want to do, but it'll probably be a good week I just wanted to shoot this out there and kind of let everybody know what's going on. And I appreciate the patience, and I appreciate when I have asked, except for one person, which I've banned, which I've never done. But when things kind of get out of control and ego's in the way, I've asked for it to back off, and everybody has. And that's very appreciated. So I'm working kind of as hard as I can on the shoestring one-man team, shoestring budget and one-man team, but I'll get some stuff figured out, and these backers are going to get me some engineering help too, so I don't have to do every little aspect. With that, take care, and may God bless you all.